Hi everyone. This is a practice for the new moon. We'll focus on our feet, a little bit of attuning to physical sensitivity, and some ideas of new beginnings and being and doing versus doing. You can come to sit on a chair or on the floor. We'll start with a little foot massage. Take one of your feet nice and close to you. Start to squeeze it with both hands. And you can take hold of your big toe and your second toe and do a little forward and back switch. And then widen those two toes apart. Keep moving down to the next set of two, forward and back, and then a little widen. Keep going all the way down till you get to your pinky. So the new moon is when the sky is a bit dark. Either the moon isn't appearing at all or just a tiny crescent is starting to appear. And you can wiggle your fingers in between your toes and give it a little squeeze and an ankle twirl. I find I like to wait to mark the new moon until I see that tiny little sliver in the sky because I feel the beginning quality then. A little ankle twirl. So let's draw a little crescent on our foot. You can do a little swirl around your heel and then crescent up the side of your foot and across from pinky toe to big side. Draw a few more just light brushing crescents, feeling the sensation on both your foot and your hand. And then switch to your other foot. Draw your other foot in towards you. Give it some gentle squeezes with both hands. And then starting at your big toe and second toe, forward and back, little switches. Feeling the bones in your feet, the muscles in your feet. Pull your toes a little wide and then continue down each little pair of piggies. And wide. So in this practice, I'll invite you to think about this coming cycle of the moon and what you hope, you can interlace your fingers between what you're hoping to begin. If there's a sort of a physical project or a way of being that you want to enact or embody or begin. Taking some moments here to tune into that. And let's draw that little crescent on the foot. That moon just beginning to appear in the sky. Heel, outer edge, and from pinky toe to big toe side. Couple more. All right, come to hands and knees. And give your spine a little bit of movement. Lift your tail, look forward, round your back and look in. Let's do a little crescent spine. Let your spine come to somewhere in the middle and then squeeze your right shoulder, right hip towards one another. Lengthen on your left side. And then switch to the other side. Go once more to each side. Take a couple of breaths on each direction. And come back to center. Walk your knees back a little bit. Curl your toes under. Lift your knees and your hips up and back. And pump your heels up and down. And let that go. Dip your knees down and up. play with some light planks. Shift forward, shoulders over wrists. Come up and back. You can go forward and back with your knees down or up. And just inviting a little bit of contemplation, reflection on how do you want to feel in this coming cycle? Because it can be easy to focus on what do we want to accomplish, what do we want to do, what do we want to achieve. And then come back either to a child's pose or to a downward dog. I'm going to keep my head up so my voice is still audible to you. But the question, how do you want to feel in this next cycle as you approach whatever it is that's going to be happening in your life and world? How do you want to feel? How do you want to be in response to the challenges or to the delights? Let's come into another downward facing dog. Take your hands a little wider than your shoulders. Curl your toes under. Lift your knees and your hips up and back. And this time when you come forward into a plank pose, tone your arms and legs. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and apart a few times. And then come up and back to downward dog. Pedal out your legs here. You might choose to do that one more time. You might have your knees down or your knees up, coming forward into plank or kneeling plank. Squeeze shoulder blades together and apart a couple times. And then come to a rest. Maybe that's a downward dog for you. Maybe that's a child's pose. Maybe it's sitting up and giving your wrists a little twirl. Pull your blanket towards you onto your mat for your knees and grab your blocks, place them underneath your hands in a table shape. Right foot, step it forward between your blocks. Back toes, curl them under, lift your back knee up, straighten and bend your front knee. Switch sides, left foot forward, right foot back. Straighten and bend your front knee. And then right foot forward, left foot back. Slight variation here. Straighten your front leg, bend your back knee, and on your front leg, have your toes come up so you're rocked onto your heel. And then bend back into a lunge, straighten your back leg. Lunge backwards, back knee is bending, front leg straight, toes lifted, and then lunge forwards. Do a few more back and forth. Step your back foot forward, other leg, back. Straighten your front leg, lift your toes up, bend your back knee, and then switch. Lunging in both directions. I sometimes call this a reverse lunge when we go back. Feeling your feet. These first steps of the new cycle, the next cycle. And then right foot forward. This time press into both feet, stand up, reach up. You might let your arms swing down. Give your wrists a little, I don't know what this is, da 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 da, and a little bit of a bounce. And then as you inhale, let your arms reach up. As you exhale, hinge forward, touching your shins or your thighs. Come halfway up, reach the top of your head forward. Fold back down, touch your block, step your left foot back this time. Drop your back knee down, and then shimmy your front foot forward, forward, forward. Flex your front foot. Dig your front heel down, pull back, toning the back line of your leg. And see if you can keep this sense of tone in your front leg, and then add a lift through your tail and a push forward through your big toe mound. So strong leg, pulling back and in. Tail lift, toe push. And as we encounter this hamstring stretch, it can be a little metaphor for our maybe coming cycle of things that might come up, challenges or obstacles, or just ways that we're stretching. How do you want to orient to this pose, these sensations, this shape? You can softly bend your front leg knee, pull your heel back. Sit back for a moment, give your wrists some love, maybe just a little twirl, one on each side gets a little bit of attention. And let's do the second side, left foot forward. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy your toes forward, flex your foot. Dig your heel down, pull back, toning your leg. A little lift through the back of your tail, push through your big toe mound. If that's not enough, or you're just interested in more different sensation, see if you can bend your elbows, lower a little closer to your front leg. What's your inner attitude that you want to practice in this next cycle of time, cycle of nature? How do you want to be in the face of doing? We're doing the pose. How do we be in the pose? Or how are we being in the pose? A couple more breaths here. Good. Softly bend your knees, slide your foot back. You can put your blocks in your blanket off to the side. Come on up to standing. We'll just do a little standing balancing. Stand with your feet hip distance apart, spread your toes a little bit. Lift and lower your heels a couple times. Once that starts to feel like you've got some of the wobbles out, continue. See if you can keep shoulders, hips stacked over your heels so the bum doesn't, or the hips don't sway forward or back. The shoulders don't sway forward or back. A couple more. And then lean onto your left foot to pick up your right knee. Turn your knee out to the side. Place your foot on the inside edge of your leg, anywhere. Hug in, so squeeze foot and leg together. From your hips, push down, lengthen up through your spine. You can reach your arms in whatever direction you like. Again, playing around with this interplay of being. How do you want to feel or orient in the next phase, the next cycle, in relation to whatever it is you're doing? At this moment, it's tree pose. Another breath or two. Your arms release, let your leg release down. Swirl your hips around. Second side, lean onto your right foot, turn your left knee out, place your foot on the inside edge, maybe it comes up higher or to a different spot on this side. Squeeze in, push down into the floor, lift up. Arms can do whatever you want them to. We could play with this sense of drawing in. Maybe that's the doing. And then the finding ground, finding sky, lengthening. as the being. Or maybe the opposite feels true for your experience of being and doing. Maybe this is the being and this is the doing. Woo! Release your leg down, give everything a little shake. Before we rest, let's do a full body brush down just to bring more awareness to this giant organ that is our skin. You might bring if you have glasses like me, put them on your head and just with your fingertips, brush down your face. And brush down your neck on all the sides. Brush down your arms. Make sure to get the backs of your hands and the inside of your arm, the inside palm of your hand. And see if you can really receive this kind of lightly stimulating, brushing, trailing touch. And then maybe you use fingertips or fingernails to brush down your torso, front, back, and sides. And use maybe both hands on one leg, brushing all the way down and out the top of the foot. Other side, brush, receiving the touch. So it's not just the action of I am the arms brushing my leg, but I am my leg receiving this touch. And then stand back up for a moment. Maybe you placed your hand somewhere in your body. And let your skin sense what's around you. Maybe that awareness and sensitivity outward also translates to an awareness and sensitivity inwards. Let's come to rest. We'll literally put our feet up, taking your chair onto your mat. You can face the seat of your chair towards you. If you're on a slippery floor, I recommend putting all 4 legs of the chair right on the mat. Your blanket could go on top of the chair to make it a little softer for your knees, or it could go underneath the back of your pelvis once you lie down. You can scoot your bum closer to the edge of the chair, your hands behind you. Walk your hands towards the center of your mat, swing your legs up, lie yourself down, and then snuggle yourself up to the chair so that the edge of the seat is right up to the backs of your knees. And hopefully that will make the legs feel super supported so your leg bones can just melt down, rest down into your hips. Might feel nice to turn your palms upwards. So sometimes when I've worked with the moon, the new moon the beginning part, the new moon part of the cycle can feel a bit like I'm already behind. Like, oh, what is my intention? I need to come up with it. I need to make plans. So I just want to acknowledge that and invite a slower approach to working with the moon. I feel like the getting things done is a bit more sun energy, or maybe we could just call a spade a spade. It's our capitalist productivity culture telling us to do things. But what if just your awareness, cultivating your awareness is enough? What if an intention just to be kinder to yourself, or kinder to the ants outside your doorstep is enough for this moon cycle. You can stay here longer. You can come out of it whenever you like. Thanks for practicing with me today.